It's funny. Oh my god. Oh.
Who's introducing us? May?
Yeah, you could. Sige.
All right. Uh, uh, good evening, everyone. You're listening to the Gaming Gamers podcast with gamers by gamers for gamers, I suppose. Um, joining you today is me, River Cruz. I'm in this podcast, and that's the extent of my accomplishments. And uh, my co-host, Giselle Nicolas. So say hi to the folks at home.
Hi, folks at home. It's me, Giselle Nicolas. I make comic books, and we do this podcast. This is my most consistent podcast out of 100 podcasts that I've started. Um, and that's about it. How was your day? How was your day, River?
Um, you know what? Today was surprisingly light work wise. I got to squeeze in a bit more time playing some games on the side. I've still been working on playing. Well, my PS4. I haven't said this in the previous podcast, but my PS4, my cat peed on it, so I can't play Doom
Mm.
for a week. So I'm letting that dry. But for the meantime, I've been playing a Shin Megami game again on my 2DS. I'm continuing the it's called Strange Journey, and I'm having a lot of fun. It's been having some weird, obviously religious twisted turns, but it's par for the course for a Shin Megami game. How about
Mm.
you? How's your day been?
No, I just want to ask about Shin Megami Tensei. Is it from a Shintoist slant, or is it like
Hmm.
is it more from a Christian
You know what it
iconography?
is? It's kind of it's a bit of everything. Or like the demons. I know like in Japan when they say demon, they don't really mean like the Christian devil or whatever. They just mean like mythical being or whatever,
Mm.
otherworldly organism. Because like the demons that you meet, they also encompass so many things. Like there's angels there.
There's that
There's
lady. There's that pixie lady with
yeah,
wearing like a
exactly.
bikini, like in
There
every Atlas game.
there's like gods from like Zoroastrianism, like really ancient religions. Yeah, yeah. There's Asura, there's like Mayan gods, like all this stuff. Everything is there. That's why in the fifth one that's coming out soon, they put the Manananggal, they put her there.
Are you serious?
So yeah, yeah. Also you bumped your mic, so I think your mic disconnected.
Yeah.
That's all right. But yeah, so right now what I'm loving about Strange Journey compared to the other ones, you're not a high school kid. You're not like most Persona games you're a high school kid or whatever. In like Shin Megami 4 and 3, you're a teenager, but this one you're a grown ass like soldier from the US. So there's this weird
Wait, you're a soldier from the
contrast.
US. What the fuck does
Yeah,
Atlas know about US soldiers?
exactly right. It's like your name. You have like friends who are named like Jimenez and
Well,
stuff like
to be
that.
fair, what the fuck do programmers, what Domino, yung mga gumagawa ng Call of Duty, know about actual soldiers?
That's true. I honestly, them being soldiers is supposed to be like a metaphor for like humankind being kind of violent, like violent tendencies, wanting to occupy stuff and like using force. But yeah, and it's really funny where like you have all these guns and stuff, but then a lot of you are like dying of a virus that possesses your soul, and they're trying to understand it. They're like, we did all these X-rays and we checked his brain waves, and there's nothing wrong with him. It's like it's affecting something deeper, something spiritual. And I don't know, I just like that contrast. It kind of reminds me of there's this movie called Priest. I don't know if you it had
Wait, Paul Bettany?
yeah, with Paul Bettany. That's the one.
You know that
It
it's based
reminds
on
me of that.
Korean manga.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's the wild thing about
That's
it.
yeah. Yeah, it just reminds me of that weird dichotomy. Also, your
Is
mic.
it
I can
so?
hear myself because I think your mic is still not plugged in.
Oh shit. What talaga? Wait, sige.
Yeah,
Go.
that's all right. Um, so I thought I was near the end of the game, but obviously, with most
Is that
JRPGs,
better?
when you're near the there you go, perfect. When you're near the end, it's just the middle. There's just a lot of shenanigans going on, and it's it's really strange to I don't it's hard to recommend any Shin Megami game honestly, but it's not I don't think I would
You want
recommend
to
this
keep
one to like a
it all
first
to
timer.
yourself, ganun, you want to feel
No,
special.
like it's not I feel like if this was the first Shin Megami game that I played, I would give up or like I wouldn't continue playing it. Mostly because I wouldn't have been accustomed to like how the battle system works or just how the game treats difficulty. But yeah. I'm enjoying the game. So I'm not sure like I'm mostly trying to squeeze in as much Shin Megami time as I can before the fifth one comes out on November,
Are
which is
you not,
strange. Yeah,
are you not getting, I presume that you got party members sa Shin Megami Tensei, right?
you you
Or
have
you
party
get
members, but they're
right?
very disposable. They're literally just whatever
Okay.
demons you can like convince to join your party. So it that's the fun thing. That's the funny thing about Shin Megami. All throughout the game, there's this feeling of isolation because it's really just you versus like this
Ah,
like messed up world. So even your party members, you can kind of like befriend them. They say like these funny stuff like if you level them up enough times, they give you a gift, like it's an item, like a healing item or whatnot. And this is some funny stuff. Like depending on the personality, some of them will be like, "You and me, we're like basically bros, man. Here's a thing for you." Like some of them will be like really posh, like, "Oh, I believe we've come to an understanding and to respect our relationship, our working relationship. Here's a treasure or something like that." I just can't imagine like how much writing goes into this type of game because there's so many dialogue options. Uh,
okay, okay. So it's not. It doesn't sound like a fun game, or like it sounds like a Dark Souls type of game. Na parang I'm
Yes,
challenged. I want to go forward. Ganun.
that's almost exactly it because it's strange how when a game is I don't know if it's just because I've been playing games for so long now, but when a
It's
game is too
it's
easy, I can't engage anymore and I hate that.
it's it's strange na we want something that treats us like shit,
I
and you
think
want
it's
it more.
That's true. I wouldn't okay, maybe there's that aspect of it, but for me like when I think about it, it's more of like the game knows we can do better, so it's not afraid to hold back or something like that. Like it I don't know. It's a thin line between respecting a player's capabilities and just being hard for the sake of being hard because it's funny and it's a meme.
Well, I'll point something out to you, and tell me if this doesn't ring true. Okay,
Okay.
nothing makes you drop controller faster than when a game is super easy. Like if
That's
you
true.
turn on the cheats, it's like I'm done. This is not fun. But if a game is kind of hard, you're gonna give it a couple of tries.
Couple goes, yeah. That's the ego speaking inside of you. Like, I'm not gonna be beat by this Japanese developer. I'm gonna win.
I'm gonna win against these Japanese developers. Okay, that's interesting. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
Shin
been
Megami
most of
Tensei.
my day.
I'm gonna try to get into. Well, I keep saying
I
that,
mean, you
but
have a 3DS now, sort of.
yep.
I really recommend the fourth one. I think the fourth one is the most player friendly one. It has a really well made tutorial, and this is like I feel like it's hard to recommend a game based on its tutorial alone, but Shin Megami Tensei 4 has an amazing tutorial.
I wanna try the first one on
You
my
really
SNES. Well,
That's a quick way to give up on this on the
I,
franchise
I
altogether.
know, I know, but like I wanna put it to the test. But I might play Earthbound before that, because
Yeah.
I liked was that Undertale. I enjoyed
Yeah.
yung story a lot. So like I'm gonna get guess where I gave up to Earthbound. Like at what
Um
point?
After you leave the town?
I was trying to find yung B at the beginning, like when you're trying to
You
find yung
did
meteorite or something.
so I'm guessing you did a couple combat scenarios though, right? At
I
least.
I don't even remember kung if I did yung combat
You
scenarios.
couldn't
Like
get past the police.
there's something in my head na parang okay, I get it. I'm gonna go out na. Not do this. Okay, speaking of games, okay, I've been playing. Well, I finished the Metroid a
Hmm.
Return of Samus, the Game Boy game,
Hmm.
and I enjoyed it very much. It's a very very good game. I don't get when they say it's slow. It's fine. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. Ganda ng leveling. Ang ganda
I
ng
feel like when some people say slow, in like a gameplay perspective. I feel like some people are misinterpreting that. Maybe it's more methodical than slow. Like the
Well,
slowness
yeah,
is
actually,
their purpose, right?
that's fair. But like I think with Metroid, it's Metroid is kind of like in between Sonic, Super Mario, and Castlevania in terms of jumping.
Okay.
It's so fucking stiff in jumping, yeah, but not
Yeah.
as stiff as like a Belmont jump. So that's
Yes.
kind
Yeah.
of good. Um, and I was playing the game wrong. You know, you get lost in it. You
Yeah.
don't get that. Pero like once I just checked some tutorials and stuff, but I realized na this game was designed for you to not backtrack, and I was approaching it
Mm.
wrong.
Okay.
It's like you're going down. It's like kind of like a thermometer, right?
I
You go.
I know it's like because it's such an early Metroid game. I bet like the whole obviously the term Metroidvania didn't exist at the time, but I feel like even the concept of a Metroidvania wasn't like solidified quite yet until Super Metroid.
I think it actually. When did this? Ano, Metroid do? Did it come before? Ano? I think it might have. Oh no, yeah, it came after your
Yeah.
first. Pero it's a lot. It's very. It's already very much like a Super Metroid. Nandun na lahat ng power
Oh
ups.
really? Okay.
Like
But not a lot of backtracking, like you said.
no backtracking. Pero like the level design is amazing, and for what it is, it's no, it's not for what it is situation. It's very good. I will say the bosses are shit. But you know
Most
that's
Metroid bosses tend to be. I
it's
noticed that. Yeah, it's just an
that's
endurance test.
I think the only real thing na nagawa ng Castlevania Symphony of the Night was introducing really good bosses and a leveling system na janky,
Mm,
pero it was fine.
but it
So
works.
so right after finishing yung Metroid one, I started playing another Metroid 2 remake, yung fan game
The
that
fan
got
made one, the one that Nintendo shut
Nintendo.
down.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about yung exercise of playing something over again in a different manner, na
Mm,
parang like Zero Mission.
yeah.
Nintendo also did that for the first game, di ba? And I think it's a real testament to how good the level design is, kasi like they basically just use the same map. But with this AM2R, another Metroid 2 remake, they did a lot of interesting stuff. Na they added their own levels, they added their own spin to things. There's like a
Yeah.
part na um you go into the ball, right, and you pilot
Mm,
yung isang robot, and the movement you don't move left to right smoothly as a robot. You jump, so you're like you're controlling a pogo stick robot, and you're solving this one. It's very well done.
that's
um
interesting.
yeah, and I my problem with the game is there are some challenges that feel, I know it's basically a ROM hack, but like done in
Yeah.
Game Maker. There are some parts na parang you don't have to make this so hard. Like there's no real point. Like it's just not, let's have fun. Like that's the problem with like ROM hacks, right? They're unreasonably hard sometimes. There are some parts here na parang you can tell that this person is not like a game developer at like a
At
studio
heart.
and like catering
Mm,
to the broad margins.
yeah.
It's like it's a fan game, which is great. Um,
Yeah. I feel like that's just the what happens when you make something on your own. Talaga. You don't have that outside perspective, just because you can beat the game, just because you know the secrets,
yeah,
doesn't mean just some random average Joe like get it as quick as you do.
that is so true. Kasi like I was part of game development that I also was programming my own game that like a
Mm.
platformer, and it's like why can't people figure out this puzzle? It's so easy. But this is coming from a guy who played the puzzle like 500 times over and
Yeah,
over.
exactly.
So there's that element of that that's AM2R. Like there's like this boss. It's like an armadillo boss. That this original Metroid game, it's just a bullet sponge and nothing. Pero dito they made it so fucking hard. And I think I played from I'm not very good at games sometimes. I just brute force things. I played it from like 9 to 3 or 2 a.m. in the
Damn.
morning,
The
9 p.m.
one boss.
The one fucking boss, and I couldn't let it go because like I had to practice it over and over again.
Mm.
Maybe not two, mga one, right? Natalo ko na
Yeah,
siya.
but still, like a relatively long time for one boss.
It's such a fucking mind fuck then. It's an optional boss, by the way, so
Oh
it's
my
not
god. What do you
Not in,
gain from beating it?
well, yung original, you get like yung jump when you're in a ball. That's the
Okay.
optional thing, diba? Pero like so I realized why it fucked me up so much. It's because I'm not used to like a the move set ni Metroid is not good for fucking bosses. It's not Mega Man.
No, yeah,
Not
exactly.
supposed to go through like a good pattern or anything. It's just para come on, it's fucking she arches her knees when she drops from jumping. It's there's a pause kind of stuff. So it's
Mm.
like it's sort of annoying there. Pero they did a lot of stuff na parang world building stuff. It's very good. Like it's you know what? It's Sonic Mania level good. I think
Oh,
that's
really?
yeah.
I should get back to Sonic Mania. I dropped it because one boss felt a bit unfair, but I should get
All
back
bosses
into it.
there are shit. Eh. It's
I
not.
know it's.
Pero
I don't know
it,
what it is. Like, why is that?
but I did replay it recently.
Mm.
Tas parang with the mindset, I guess yung watching YouTube is like got into my head that parang Sonic games get more fun the more you play them because it's all about Twitch controls.
That's true. Yeah.
So parang
I
it's like the first time it's not gonna be fun talaga.
Yeah. I forgot to mention earlier. I also beat a Metroid game. I forgot. I was playing Metroid Fusion and I beat it. It's
Oh,
really
first time?
short. Yeah, that was the first time I beat it. That was the it's the last Metroid game that I beat was Super Metroid way back in like 20 I don't know, like also like 2012, 2013 on my Wii U. I don't even know when the Wii U came out. But anyway, like but
That's so good.
Metroid Fusion is
Very good.
actually really really good. It's different. It's funny you say like Metroid 2 it doesn't really it's not designed for backtracking. Metroid Fusion is almost the same. It you can backtrack. When you backtrack, you get bonus stuff, but it's not the center of the design philosophy. You could feel that as you were playing, what the people at the developers wanted to do was craft scenarios, and you can't really do that with a game where you have to backtrack
Yeah.
because at the heart of it, Metroid Fusion is a horror game,
Yeah.
and you know about this, right? Like where
I've
this.
played Metroid Fusion. I love it.
Okay, you did. Okay, great. Yeah, so
It's a
I always
sprint.
yeah exactly. And it's always bothered me how a lot of Metroid games, obviously you can't get through it without backtracking. That's like the heart of a Metroidvania. But they score you. Your ending is based on how well you backtrack, but at the same time, how quickly you finish the game. So those feel very counterintuitive to me because backtracking obviously that involves a lot of wasted time, quote unquote, because you're
Don't make
literally
me rush through your lush world, fucker. Parang ganun.
yeah, exactly. I want to explore this world, but that you're timing me. So when I finish the game, I don't get to see Samus like take off her
Like,
armor.
but
Wait, that's what happened in Fusion. I
it's
spent so much time hunting all the unlockables, and I beat the game too long, and now I don't know. It bothered me. It irked me in the end. I was like, I
can I
had such
just
a great time too.
can I just say na Metroid, Super Metroid, probably the first Metroid too, is the
Yeah.
start of really subtle, savvy, environmental storytelling in
Yes.
video games. Probably like one of the most uh, ambient type of
Mm.
experiences, right? So it's very
Yeah.
smart as well because it's, honestly, it perfectly replicated your first Alien movie in a way, diba?
Yeah. Which is
Right?
really interesting.
How fucking vapid is yung ending na? Ah, you just see naked. It's
You
completely
just you get to see a lady in the bikini. It's so funny. That's such a double-edged like blade of like how Metroid helped push. I mean I agree when people say help that Metroid helped push female representation in video games, but it's done so in such a sleazy way in
I
the
wouldn't
ending at
say
least.
completely sleazy.
And well,
I
it's
mean, I
not
know,
completely, but there's a level of sleaze
but
because of how you're rewarded by
I
showing a
yeah.
half naked lady.
I'll say na I think it also at least it started from parang oh that's the end of the first Alien. You see Ripley na naka bra and panties, right, floating in space or something like that. It's
Yeah,
something
but that's because she
similar
fought
to
an
that,
alien and it ripped her clothes off.
but
This
like
one
it's
she voluntarily strips for the player. It's like
don't
this
shit
is
on
what you get.
Dante Yokoi. He got hit by a fucking car on the side of the
Did he
highway.
really?
Oh,
Why?
you didn't know? That's how
I
he
didn't know. That's how
that's
he
how he died.
died.
That's how he.
Oh
It's fucking
man.
sad. He got fat. I know he. I think he retired. He quit dahil nga
Yeah.
failure yung what's that
Oh, the
virtual.
Virtual Boy. Yeah, yeah.
And then he
Right,
went.
Gunpei Yokoi. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he went to work for like he made the Wonder Swan, and then he died kasi nasiraan siya at the side of the road, and then he got hit by a car against yung
Jeez.
kanyang door.
Oh my
Like,
God. Jesus. What a
it's
way to go.
what a way to go. He couldn't he's the father of lateral thinking, pero he couldn't move laterally like Frogger.
Yeah, I was trying to make a joke, like a Metroid joke, like oh, he didn't curl into a ball, but that doesn't really fit or make sense. But anyway, rest in
It's not
peace,
as
that
funny
guy.
kung wala si Andren na
I
parang
know he's the
yeah,
one that.
he'd probably say something. Yeah, I'm gonna take a shit in the corpse's mouth or something. Not that bad. Okay.
Wait, so there's a game called Gunpei, right? Is it named after him?
I don't know. Let me
Anyway,
try gaming historian. I don't know. I don't know.
that's
But
a
it's just it's amazing na there are more Metroid games on handheld.
yeah. I think it's because of that misconception that 2D games are lesser than 3D, especially in the nine. It's not how it is now. I think they have the same weight now, but back in the day, definitely like your game has to be 3D or it's not gonna sell well. So they since the Metroid style game won't really work in a 3D space. I know some people have tried to make it work now, but back in the day, I feel like they couldn't convert Metroid to 3D unless it was with Metroid Prime in first person like years later. So they kept relegating her to handheld because she wasn't the kind of game that would sell systems. I guess I don't know.
I feel like I love playing it at handheld. I love you. It's there's something more um personal to like playing a handheld.
Hmm.
Like you could go around the house and just parang oh I'm in a spaceship, but really I'm at my kitchen table. Um,
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. Because like when it's a handheld device, it's you in the game. I get it.
it feels more
Like
claustrophobic, actually. I think.
that's true.
Yeah.
Because yeah, when it's on the TV, it's a spectacle. Anyone can see what you're playing. It's not there's the connection breaks when someone comments on what you're doing in the game, but that doesn't really happen when you're handheld gaming.
Tumalon ka. Yeah.
Tumalad ka, uy. Bonak.
So you enjoyed the infusion. Are you
Yeah,
planning to
yeah,
play
yeah.
Zero Mission?
Next one is gonna be Zero Mission, and then the Metroid 2 Samus Returns, the official Nintendo remake of Metroid 2.
I am excited. I think I'm gonna buy it na lang sa shop
I
or
think
like
I think you might as well. Yeah, I feel like it's
yeah.
worth the money, naman.
But that's the problem kasi I'm gonna buy of course Dread.
Yeah,
Pero it's either that or Dread. Pero if I play Dread, will I be able to go back sa Fusion?
I think the Metroid
That's
games
not
have the
Fusion.
luxury of still standing the test of time because of how many Metroidvanias there are nowadays.
Yeah.
Because of that, it like when you go back to a Metroid game, it feels fresh. It's hard to explain, but Fusion felt like a modern game to me while I
I
was
think
playing it.
such a fun thing to explore. There's no way that you're gonna remember yung layout if you're just a
Yeah,
normal person. So it's
yeah.
like it is. There's a freshness there. Ganun. Yeah. I love si Samus. She's the best. I also downloaded like a bunch of ROM hacks ng Super
For
Metroid to play on yung
oh
aking
really?
SNES. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Like
the thing. The Super Metroid really is the skeleton for a lot of Metroidvanias. I guess that and Symphony of the Night, but more so Super Metroid. I don't know. I haven't
um,
played a lot of Metroidvania games that lean more towards the Vania than the Metroid.
a funny thing. Well, kasi I think there's a lot more to do in like a Castlevania thing. Um, and like I think to edit the tile set of Metroid is easier because it's just a bunch of rocks
Like, yeah,
compared to
honestly, I feel like Axiom Verge might as well just be a ROM hack of Metroid,
yeah. I
Super
think we
Metroid.
talked about this because that's
Yeah,
why I played it. It was enjoyable, but at the same time, I hated it because it's like there's just nothing new. It's just really well done, but like it's just
yeah,
I between that and like what's the wrestling Metroidvania?
Oh, Guacamole.
Guacamelee is an amazing
I love
game.
Guacamole. Yeah.
Yeah, it had its own identity. It had its really good challenges, good
Mm,
story.
yeah.
Uh, would you say it's a good Metroidvania in terms of yung
You know
exploration?
what? It's funny. It never occurred to me that it was a Metroidvania until I beat the game. When I was like, hold on a second, like I was at the final boss, and then I realized I like it's because I was so invested in the game. I had this moment of like I want to say like lucidness where I was like, hold on, I'm going back to an area I've already been with an ability that I unlocked later on in the game. This is a Metroidvania. It's
You
because in my
did.
mind it was a beat 'em up. Like I got so caught up in
Wow,
the combat more so than the exploration.
that's so silly to
It's
me.
so funny.
It immediately hit me na it's a Metroidvania once I became a chicken. Oh, this is fucking Metroidvania.
This is the ball. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even it didn't even occur to me. It's because he was so integrated so well in the world. It didn't feel like it was shoehorned in. Like this is your chicken mode. I felt that with
And
Axiom Verge with the alien thingy that you transfer your mind to. That was like the head crab in Half Life. That was like, oh, this is the ball. Like yeah.
yeah, I mean there's a bit like you could argue that for the first 3D Metroidvania is what's that fucking Daniel Fortescue game?
Oh,
Uh, he,
yeah, yeah.
Medieval.
Medieval. Yeah,
He,
yeah.
he,
That's
he
true.
puts his head on yung hand, zombie hand, and it's basically yung ball. Then
Ball mode.
yeah, yeah. So like Metroidvania. Are you excited for Dread? Because it looks
Yeah.
like
God, I am so excited for Dread.
it looks
That's the
amazing. I'm not
thing.
that hyped.
I'm not like as excited for Metroid Prime 4 and I don't know if that's controversial because I I can't beat Metroid Prime. I tried so hard to play the game. I have a legitimate copy of the trilogy 1, 2 and 3. I can't even get past 1. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just I'm so bad at directions and it's this whole Z axis thing that I have to
Are you
consider cuz
serious?
yeah, I can't. I'm so bad at the game. I'm like I like the one thing is exploration in 3D space. Another thing is it's first person, so I can't really um get a read out of the area because I have to manually move my character around to really look around to survey what's going on. And the third one is that because it's in first person, the combat is in first person, so I really have to aim now instead of
Hmm.
just like mash the button. I don't know. I found out like I was playing the game wrong. I was supposed to go to a certain levels. I don't know. Maybe this is just the part of me that is. There are some parts in some games where I feel like they're counterintuitive to the design. Like in Sonic Mania, I don't like that. You get the real ending if you get all the emeralds, but you can only get all the emeralds by exploring. But Sonic Mania is supposed to be a fast game.
I
But
don't
you
even I don't even think about yung ending.
Yeah,
That
but you
it's
don't get
that
the
kind of
true ending
bullshit.
if you don't. I know, but it's just I'm like I'm supposed to be moving fast. Why are you making me explore? In Metroid Prime,
Mm.
uh, you're supposed to be finding like these things. I don't know what they are, like a medallion, and then you go back into this area and put the medallion there, whatever it is. I didn't know you were supposed to do that. I just went to every world, tried to expand the map, unlock new abilities, and I missed out on a couple medallions that were hidden in other areas. And I get that that's part of like a Metroidvania, but the story kept pushing in a different direction, and I felt like I wasted time, so I got frustrated and never picked it up again.
Okay. I've never played a Metroid Prime game, so I'm interested trilogy when it comes out to finally
I
play
hope
it.
I'll give it another shot if it comes out.
That's it. That's interesting because I was thinking about I just can't get into Bioshock Infinite, um,
Mm,
since it's the first one worked really well because the setting is basically you can take your time
yeah,
enjoying it. And the last one was you're at an amusement park, almost literally, diba? And you're just seeing yung mga look at they're gonna Comstock. Like it's just I don't know. It's just disjointed bullshit. It just takes me out of it. Ganon. That's my problem with like games that with too much story. Sometimes it's like even with like God of War, and
yeah.
I'm enjoying it. Ganon. But I was thinking about kasi si Andrew brought it up, di ba?
Yeah,
Zelda, I think the
yeah.
past, tas parang, what bullshit is this? And I'm looking at yung um, God of War, what's the first one? Valhalla.
Uh, it's just called God of War,
Yeah,
honestly.
God of War,
Yeah,
the Thor one,
2018. Yeah.
2018. And it's like, I'm thinking, is the combat really good? Like, I'm thinking of yung time spent with the animations and then yung hitting, and then i-compare mo sa games before na parang when you hit an enemy, there's just like, kunyari, if you kill an enemy nowadays, it's usually mga 2 minutes per enemy or something if it's a big
Yeah.
enemy, right? Because there's a lot of, you're looking at a spectacle and there's
A lot of
timing.
variables. Yeah.
Right? Pero yung sa Link the Past is probably like 3 hits.
Yeah,
It's
just
probably like
swipe. Yeah.
20, 10 seconds maybe. Ganun. Pero it amounts to the same ends. There's just sa God of War, there's a lot more like gravitas na parang like I have a child and I am learning to be a father. Oh, look at the puzzle. Who gives a
Go up
fucking
there and push a box, child.
It seems so that I have a problem with yung cinematic kasi
This is
it's
there's
a
a
me problem.
term. There's a term coined for that.
Ludo,
Yeah,
blah blah.
ludo narrative dissonance. A lot of
Yes.
people love coining that term. But that's what that is, literally. Like the story gets in the way of the gameplay. They don't meld.
It seems so it seems so like as a person who loves stories, right? And it's a me problem because it's a situation parang I want to get into it. I want to get into this game,
Hmm.
body and soul, diba? And something that worked for me was Xenoblade. I really like his story, ganun.
You
And all
finished
of
it,
it.
or how far are you?
I haven't finished it, but
That's okay.
chapter 14. I'm at the no, I'm at the robot city.
Ooh, I love that area.
I love na yung town is just situated in a room. And then,
I
kasi before when you're trying to get quests, it's like, I'm gonna go here at night, I'm gonna go up and down, and ganun. It's all of the fucking quests are in a room and you just keep talking to them over and over again. And like
yeah.
within 5 minutes, you have all of the quests na. And all of the quests seem ridiculous. Parang, you can't have robots be more powerful than one another. So like there are multiple quests na parang kill this robot, kill that
Yeah.
robot. Like, it's fucking clever. I
It
enjoyed it.
feels robotic too. Yeah.
True, true. So that is a game that makes you stop and watch the story, and it's fine
Mm.
with me. And I'm
Okay.
completely lost in the story, and it's like it's an easier switch for me. Ganon. Pero like
Yeah.
I noticed like when I was playing like what's that Spider-Man game, right? Graphics are really good, right? And then they switch between yung cinematics at yung quick time events really quickly. And
Yeah.
then they'll transition into yung game mode, and I'm just standing there and then I get hit. Oh fuck, it
Oh
started.
right. Yeah.
Started already. You're not gonna do like there's not gonna be like Spider-Man kick this person. I'm an old guy. Spider-Man time to kick these guys. It's just um
You want a clear separation between gameplay and story? Is that what you're saying, or
not
like
that
with
I want,
cutscenes?
not that I want. I'm just
Um,
noticing yung difference of approaching modern games because I am a
mm,
lapsed gamer na ba, I went back to gaming. So it's like it's interesting to me na parang like and also isn't that okay, what's a bigger dissonance there? Parang you make like a a uh, uh, a screen na parang Spider-Man, these guys are gonna kill you. Time to punch them. And then you
yeah.
start playing the game, and then you have your sound bite na parang these guys are dumb, and I'm gonna punch them. Yung ganun, right? Or what I went through na parang is the game started? Oh fuck! Like it both
They
ruins
both
you
have
in
pros and cons. Yeah. The immersion is broken
yeah
either way. I get that. I think maybe there's a middle ground there where Spider-Man can like talk to himself and be like, "Okay, time to punch these guys," or something like that, like a little cue. I get what you mean. There's this
yeah.
the transition is not there, so it's jarring when it goes from cutscene to gameplay, and you don't notice. Yeah,
That's
because
funny.
I feel like the game to blame is Half Life. Either No, it's not Half Life One. It would have been Half Life One because there's no cutscenes in that game. It's one of the first like major first person shooters with no cutscenes because the whole story is told while you're playing the game. Literally, like when NPCs talk, you're still in the room waiting for them to talk and all that. But I love how they did that.
It's
I
so
think it
good.
was more of Activision with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. You ever play the first Modern Warfare game?
Uh, are we gonna talk about shooting people in the airport? Is
No,
this
that's Modern Warfare 2, right?
okay?
In Modern Warfare 1, there's a mission where you are a kidnapped politician and you're playing as him. You're in his perspective and then you can move his head around, but he's being dragged around, so you have no control. And you're being brought to a car and then you're brought to this area where you're going to get executed. And you're forced to like see this whole thing in the perspective of the politician. And I thought that was really powerful because it took away your agency, but it's clearly a cutscene that you just can happen to move the camera in. But in Modern Warfare 2, like you said, with the airport shooting people, I get like giving that ability to the player so they can feel dirty about it, and you put in the shoes of the characters. Like I'm undercover, I'm not actually supposed to kill these people. But what did that like really accomplish other than show either well a showing off that they were clever that they did that and b just
Exports.
shock value, yeah. I don't know. Like, if
The,
you could accomplish that in the cutscene, I guess.
I experienced that in like such a pure way because I'm a pure human being with pure thoughts. That I was in like I was in the States. I was playing yung I forget whose fucking console that was, pero nandun yung isang cousin. And they were playing it. Tapos parang I got dun sa airport level. I was like, I'm gonna fucking shoot these people? What the fuck's wrong with this game? So what is this teaching to the youth of America? When then years later, it's worse. Somehow. No, pero like it is that parang I appreciate it on the level of art, but it's also like it's really fucking sloppy art. Um, but it's fine. It's I don't know. I don't know. It's a in what country is sobrang normalized yung military technological complex sa states, right? It's just
Yeah.
it's the way of life. It's a Spartan type of thing na parang it's just a game. Always just a game. So it's like, pero like if you could you make a military style shooter dito sa Philippines? Lalo na if you're a leftist creative, it's
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous.
It's
Like
it's
it's so
it
hard.
exactly. And there's no bigger like advertising for the US military right now than like yeah, video games like that. And I don't want to sound like an angered SJW extremist where it's like, "Oh no, we shouldn't be pushing any propaganda." I mean, everything is propaganda. It depends on the intent or what kind of message you're trying to send. I guess when it comes to military shooters, it's hard now more than ever to have a story that quote unquote justifies the violence that you're doing, like on hand violence. That's why I don't see the harm in the multiplayer aspect because that's so far removed. It's no there's no context in the violence. It's just you're trying to be better than the other person, and that's fine. But it's so I bet like writers have a really difficult time now in the video game era of people being more quote unquote woke or more sensitive to the material that they're being exposed to because it's hard like to justify video game violence nowadays.
I'd
I
say
don't know.
no, no. Things like Overwatch, Portal, um, Half Life, yung the way that other evolutions of the first person perspective
Yeah,
shooting game have really destabilized and like
that's
not
true.
made yung obsolete yung Counter Strike all yung parang ganong style of game, pero it's look, Counter Strike might as well be like Mappy, a cops and robbers game. Na it's
Yeah,
that old na, di ba? It's just that
yeah,
different. Oh, that old game. Yeah, and it's just the rules of the game. It doesn't have any real political leanings except yung set dressing. Even yung Modern Warfare, all of that stuff is really just a. It's like it's a parody of itself now. So like
Yeah.
it's a
They
it's
fucking
just
went to space, dude. Like,
you
where
know
else can they go now? It's so clear that they're running out of ideas for war type games, and I'm beginning to wonder: are they doing this? I mean, obviously, though, they're trying to push the multiplayer, which earns them more money, and then you tack on a single player campaign. I guess now that's why the newest call, not the newest, but like Call of Duty Black Ops 4 didn't even have a campaign. Like, they didn't
well
even bother.
if you think about it, then are they ano ba? Are there even that many skirmishes on the level of like a D-Day anymore? It's not. Like sobrang
Yeah,
commodity na. It's all about drone warfare. Unless
yeah,
you're gonna make like a
a drone game.
mm, not. I was gonna say like from the perspective of Al Qaeda or like the Taliban, like you parang mostly on the ground type.
Yeah,
But
you know what it
better like
is? Oh yeah, go
uh,
ahead. Sorry.
no ba?
I was gonna say there are still wars. They're just not wars being fought by white men. That's why they're not being worth being told in a video game. That's why they're
That's
not.
what. That's why we're gonna play Far Cry 6, right? We got
Yeah,
Esposito.
it got Giancarlo Despacito. What's his last name? I said Despacito. Um,
Esposito, right?
yeah, Esposito. I said Despacito. Sorry.
Is that the song?
Yeah, but yeah, I'm actually interested. Like, where do you think the story's gonna go with that? With Far Cry, what, 6 now? Yeah,
You know what? They're gonna talk about the way that the U.S. have handled elections and like put in like dictators in positions of power, and
yeah.
immediately after they're gonna go fish. That's the fucking
They're
thing that
gonna
they're gonna do.
the
They're gonna
the
run a
U.S.
restaurant.
government, the U.S. government has really destabilized nations in the Middle East with their warmongering, money making ways. Go climb that tower and look at these icons and unlock more collectibles.
I don't know na din like backtracking a little bit because
Yeah,
I've gotten into like ROM hacking, yung romhacking.net, just looking at yung mga little fixes and the colorizations. Like I played Metroid 2 with like a colorized patch,
yeah.
and it's very beautiful. Um, and I got into my head na parang, what game I want to play again? I want to play Mega Man Legends, but I don't wanna read as if I was a kindergarten student. The very
You want to fix the
slow text.
dialogue? Yeah,
Yeah, I was just looking for like, is there like a ROM hack? There's none. There's a ROM hack out there na parang fixing a bug. Pero like I just want like an improvement patch na parang skip dialogue because it's a very it's formatted for CRT. It's all big pa and it's just
yeah,
that's what got me out of it. Pero when I think about yung level design of that and just yung overall story and like I know Android shits on it so much kasi like ang stiff ng controls pero like
yeah.
what the fuck dude that's the original Wind Waker. I will say that the graphics have not aged. That was so fucking charming.
Yeah, I've seen like screenshots, and I know it came out on the PS1, but like because of how I think it's just the cell shaded anime look is very timeless,
It's
oddly
also
enough.
it's also very I keep going back to Metroid, but it does feel like Metroid because you're
Mm.
exploring old ruins and like the designs are very like ako, it's such an underrated it's such an it's such a charming game. I think yun naman yun. Pero like what was yung point? Uh you interested in Deathloop? You see that? It seems cool.
Yes, it reminds me so much. I wish I finished this game, but I really enjoyed my time with Prey. It's the same developer, and I enjoyed Prey a lot. And looking at Death Proof now feels like the culmination of everything they've learned from Prey and Dishonored in just this really condensed game. And I'm really happy with what they were able to accomplish with that. And Deathloop feels like the kind of game you would only make if you weren't. It feels very mid tier. We've been talking about this in chat, like when we chat. It the magic of a mid tier game in that it feels different. It doesn't feel like it's out to get your money. It feels like a game, and I've seen gameplay of it. And it looks so silly. It looks so fun. I'm really. It's only on PS5. I'm not sure where it's coming out anymore.
Oh, nasa PS5 siya. Pero like, it's so funny kasi like, I watch a lot of gaming channels and people have gotten sick of it because it's on every fucking direct and every presentation. It's
Yeah.
Deathloop again. When is this game gonna come out? Tapos I thought that people wouldn't like it, but it turns out like it's very well
Yeah,
reviewed.
well
The
received.
trailers did not sell the overall conceit. And it's not so much.
Yeah.
I think it's like a split between Hades and a puzzle game, which is interesting.
I was thinking about Hades actually, wherein every death is canon. I love games that like try to mess with the, because when you, it's hard to sell Deathloop on the premise of like when you die, you learn from your mistakes and do it again. That's
That's
every
every
video
video
game.
game.
Yeah,
It is.
exactly. But because they've added this conceit of like you keep your weapons, you keep your abilities, it does feel like actual learning as you play, like Hades. Yeah,
It's
I'm
interesting because
excited to try it.
it looks like it looks like I wanted to play that game, yung We Happy Few. Have you heard of
Yeah,
it?
I was so excited for that game too,
Then it
but
turns out that it's not so great.
it's not very good because of how I don't know who published it, who ended up publishing it. I think it was Gearbox or something. Maybe the people behind Borderlands. Like they bought the this indie development company, right? And at the time, and I think still to this day, survival games were very in, very trendy. So throughout the game, you have to
Girls'
maintain.
Generation. Then.
Yeah, you had to like drink water, keep up your sanity, eat food, like all this nonsense, and it just got in the way. It just got in the way because
Nonsense we don't do in our real lives.
I exactly. I mean, there are some games that are built around that. I played Don't Starve. I love that game,
Mhm.
but the game is centered around the survival mechanics. That's the fun part of the game. When we have a few, it struck me more as like this. How would you describe it? Like
It's an LSD trip through like kasi you're taking drugs
yeah,
to hide yung horrible reality of Britain na parang it's
yeah,
all dilapidated and post-apocalyptic. Pero when you take in drugs, it's like it's like the 70s, ganon. And that's why I thought of like that game when I saw in Death to Power. This is what I wanted, you know.
hmm,
I don't want to play a game na it does like procedural generation is only cool for game developers. It's a lame. Parang, oh, I'm never gonna pick this. Look at what I did. Look at yung algorithm na ginawa ko. Ganun.
yeah,
It's very, pero as a player, you're never gonna feel, you're never gonna have a nostalgia for like a level that was randomly generated. But you're always gonna
yeah.
remember like a well-designed, handcrafted level, I think.
Handcrafted. Yeah, I feel like that's a good talking point actually. Like, where do you draw the line with procedural generation? Because I get it with like roguelikes, roguelites. Obviously, those games are meant to be unlimited playtime, replayed on all the time, always ad nauseum. Like it works for like Spelunky and Binding of Isaac, Hades too to a
Um,
lesser extent. But yeah.
Dead Cells is my favorite. It's the best
Yes.
procedural
Oh my god.
generation game.
Yeah. It's so
Like,
strange how Dead Cells was able to do that and still be a Metroidvania. Isn't that crazy?
it's also such a it's a game that fucking respects your time. Pero
Yes.
at the
Yeah.
same time you lose hours to it because it's
It
that
has
good.
an ending. I love that. I love when games do that where yes, you can play until this point. This is canonically where the story ends, but you can keep playing because there's more that we added.
I
That's kind of
didn't
what
even
Dragon
feel
Quest
the ending.
does too, actually.
No, I didn't even feel the ending. Well, no, I did feel it because the fight was good.
Yeah.
They're not the best bosses, alam mo yun, on the
Hmm.
vanilla. I don't know yung may frost giant stuff.
Yeah,
Pero
there's
like,
a newer one that came out recently too. I forgot. It's like a plant-based world.
my friend
I
said
didn't play it.
it's better balanced now.
That's what I hear. There's
I don't want to play it anymore because
I might go back to it, but I've got such a backlog, man. I'm burning through all the Dragon Quest and Shin Megami games. I don't know why I do this to myself.
I think okay, I'll recant yung sinabi ko about having an emotional connection to like procedural generated stuff. I think Dead Cells did it well because there you remember in Talk Tower segments
Yes, yeah.
that there's a specific way that it generates yung level randomly where there are rules and you get familiarity with yung
Mm.
rules.
Yeah.
Pero I think sometimes when people just procedurally generate a map, it's really just a randomized.
Yeah, that it doesn't serve the gameplay. It's just this area that you can explore, but what's the point? It's
Binding
randomly
of
made.
Isaac had good stuff na parang
Yeah.
you could kind of figure out where something's gonna come out or like ano yung
Mm.
susunod. That you have it
That's
has
what
to
it is.
intrigue
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
It has to have it's unpredictable predictability where like you know what to expect because the rule set is so clear. Like in Spelunky when you go down
Yes.
certain corridors, there's a booby trap sometimes that shoots an arrow. Like the first time that happens, you feel like shit. Like, oh, how would I expect that? It's random. But then you see the signs because what the whether the algorithm is that was programmed. Whenever those booby traps are there are rocks nearby that you can pick up and throw to trip the trap and make it shoot the arrow without shooting you. So when you start seeing rocks, you're like, oh, maybe there's a booby trap nearby. So then the player learns, and that's something you can remember. Unlike in We Happy Few, where all you do is you're in a randomly generated area with randomly generated resources. It detracts from the point of the game, which is you're like this British guy who censors news. Like, dude, this game would have
Oh,
been
talaga?
so good as an adventure game. Yeah, he censors like bad news. He makes it happy. So like this would have worked as like a Grim Fandango adventure game. I don't know. It
No, no,
just felt
no.
like such a wasted opportunity.
It could have been just what's that game? Paratopic is good. That's a good game. That's
Paratropic, yeah.
that, yeah. Have you played it?
I get it. I played it. It's the only other than Dark Souls. It's the only other game I've ever streamed on Facebook, and I finished it on the stream. Yeah, it's such a
It's such a
weird
weird
game.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
I played it. Oh, I think I started playing it on Brownout or something. It was para I
Oh,
was like, you fucking idiot, man. Yeah, that was so fucking scary. Because it's
it's
all like
spooky.
creepy past. Yeah.
It only has
Um,
one jump scare too, which is funny. Like
that
in the
was
entire
fucking
game.
effective.
Yeah. No.
Fucking jumps. I love when games are like that, and it has to be a short game because it doesn't work with
Yeah.
long.
Yeah. That's true. There's this game called The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. I enjoy that game to an extent, but I got stuck in a puzzle, so I was just looking up a walkthrough, and I accidentally spoiled myself because I found out that it has one jump scare. I didn't get spoiled by the ending. I just found out that there's one jump scare, and I didn't want to know when it would happen. But throughout the game, I just couldn't play it because I keep expecting that one jump scare. Because the game it has creepy vibes. It's like this culty crime investigation game. And I just couldn't finish it because I just like, okay, this is where the jump scare happens, but it doesn't happen.
Jump scares. Okay, okay. So, ano yung topic natin? I forgot. Yung
I don't
ating
remember. What did you say in the in chat?
No, I said na to stop. Nakalimutan ko na
Oh,
no,
okay.
what we were talking about, we were talking about Metroidvanias. We were talking about ano.
Yeah. What was it? Wait. How about this? Since there's
Okay.
two of us, it's just two of us. What are your favorite gaming duos?
Duos? Like
Yeah, like Ratchet and Clank or Jack and Daxter, or I can't think of another one.
Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter. Yeah, those were two guys. Something that came to mind was
Sly and Cooper. I don't know.
Sly Cooper. That was a, you know what, yung Sly Cooper, like yung hot detective fox, just really awakened something sa akin.
Yeah, it really got your goat.
It got my dick. So what's the deal with foxes, man? Like,
I don't
I have,
know.
I
It's so
have a friend.
funny.
I have a friend that
Okay.
kind of like we were talking about Robin Hood, Disney's Robin
Yeah.
Hood. Actually,
Oh, and
the
Maid
only thing that
Marian.
yeah, the only thing I'd say, I'd say, I know, si Robin Hood's pretty hot. I think
Yeah.
that's the only thing that movie taught us. Like animals can be sexually attractive too.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's because I feel like a lot of modern media has really been influenced by undercover furries, because in like ancient Japan folklore, there are stories of like sexy foxes or sexy fox ladies, and then it's been so ingrained in popular culture that I
Yeah,
feel like it just birthed more people like looking at a fox and being like, oh, I see that sexy look, and then they just go. from there.
You well, okay, okay. Let's get literary. Let's get
Yeah.
anthropological. Let's get archaeological. You know the idea of the world snake, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That in every culture there is a representation of a snake god deity that usually swallows. Like there's this repeating
Long
myth, right?
tail. Yeah.
Uh, I think just the epitome of sexiness is a fox, and it repeats in other cultures as well. If we don't have foxes in the Philippines, or if we did, you know,
What's
the
the
cat
sexy animal in
wins.
the Philippines that people seem to go wild for?
Oh, is there a sexy animal but the Philippines?
I guess cats. I don't know.
Johnny Gonzaga. Cats?
I
There,
don't know.
I'm gonna research that later kung endemics sa Philippines ng cats. No, pero like, tayo layo sa games sa favorite duo.
I,
Pero like, I'm just thinking about you know.
I'm gonna Google it. Best gaming duos.
Well, I was gonna say Donkey Kong, pero like, okay. I was watching, have you ever watched Antichrist, ni Lars von Trier?
I've seen the one scene with Willem Dafoe's dick. Wait, are we talking about the same movie?
Yeah, yeah, pero like,
Yeah.
why is that the scene that you,
Because my
I have
friend
to
was
see
watching
the
it in the
movie?
middle of class, right? He was on his laptop, and then we're in the middle of a class, and it's like, "Yo, River, check this out." Then he like rotates his screen at me, and it's the scene where his dick bleeds.
I
It's like,
don't even
why did
think
you
that's
show
his
me?
dick. Oh wait, his dick. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
No, there are two scenes with his dick. Eh.
yeah.
The first one is like full on penetration, and then their baby climbs out of yung window and dies. Ganon. So yun yung naalala ko eh. Yung parang like interspersed with like the falling death of a child. Yung
Mm.
penetration na ni Charlotte Gainsborough. And I was thinking, parang that's not Willem Dafoe's dick. It's too.
Apparently, it's not because it was
It
because
isn't.
I heard it was too big, and we're like, "No, we gotta make this normal sized." So they got
But
a
talaga,
double.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, either it was
I
a
don't
double or
buy
a
it.
prosthetic.
I don't buy it. I think yung kanyang dick is green like the goblin. That's why they couldn't show it. Okay, sige. Gaming duos. I like si ano. I really like Donkey Kong and like si Diddy Kong.
Donkey and Diddy. Yeah, that's a good
Even
one.
though even though yung Donkey Kong ko was really Donkey Kong 3, which had si Baby Kong and like si Dixie Kong, you know. But
Mm.
like I did like yung TV show dati growing up. The
Oh,
very bland
the
TV show.
CGI one, the one where they sing.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see like a lot of video game articles try to really stretch a theme. I'm looking at like best gaming duos in IGN. Like some are like regular like Mario and Luigi, Toe Jam and
Mega Man
Earl.
and Zero.
There's this one Pokemon trainers and their first Pokemon. I feel like that's kind of stretching it because like
Is that a
I don't know.
duo? Is that that's
I
a
guess so.
slave
Like
situation, di ba?
it's yeah, I guess it's not necessarily a duo. It's more like
So
a
pet
master and their slave.
it's a superior sama horrible. You really can't dissect yung Pokemon too much, no? Like you just have to take it on surface level
Yeah,
that people are nice in that world, right?
yeah. I just yeah, because the very core concept is so it's so dark when you think
I've
about.
never there's never gonna be a movie about cockfighting that's gonna be whimsical and life
Exactly.
affirming.
That's why I love the Shin Megami games because they acknowledge the darkness of like subjugating a lesser being, quote unquote. Because they run with it. They're like, these guys are disposable. Fuse them with other demons, make them stronger, whatever. But they do not feel sympathy for these creatures that you've been controlling. But in Pokemon, they it's such a there's a narrative dissonance there again, where you're pushing these creatures to the limit, like not really caring for them. But the games and the anime try to push this theme of friendship and and caring for one another. But like, I guess you do
But
feel that way with some Pokemon, but
it's a pre-internet sort of thing na parang it's a playground thing. I think that it doesn't really exist na lalo sa pandemic, right? I feel like I didn't like ano, I didn't finish yung Pokemon ever. But like it does it's yes, the game is problematic at story level, but how it forces you to actually interact with other people and trade and share and stuff, and like it might be the last big game
Mm.
to do that on like a big level, diba? Like
That's
on a
true.
whole
Yeah,
level.
I'm a bit sad. I don't know. Maybe I'm out of the loop with Pokemon nowadays. I mean, I did try to keep up with each game. I've played at
Mm.
least one game in every generation, except maybe the DS ones. But because I played Sword and Shield, and I remember back in I don't know when Ruby and Sapphire were the ones I really grew up with on the Game Boy Advance. Everyone was trading in my school,
Mm.
in the grade school. Everyone had like link cables, like give me your whatever Torchic, and I'll give you this. But I didn't really feel that now. I mean, duh, we're in a pandemic, but I mean, I didn't really feel that. Maybe because I'm not in school too. But even in you know what it is? You know what killed it? Pokemon Go. That's what killed it. That's what
Uh,
killed the whole trading craze because now everyone's just now
but
people are
even
meeting in a different way.
but even Pokemon Go, love it or hate it, is such an amazing piece of
That's true.
technology
I can't deny that
and
it
social change.
really
Like, I
it
don't
was a
know,
big cultural moment. That's true.
it's a big cultural moment, and you know, it's still a huge company type of thing, making money off of people.
Niantic, yeah.
But like,
It's
interesting. Uh,
I think it's so kind of poetic. The Nintendo. I get that like Pokemon is kind of far removed now from Nintendo. It's still under Nintendo, but it's might as well be a different company. But they were like key to like a certain like we said like a cultural moment of people coming together and connecting over this one thing. And I feel like that happened again in the beginning of the pandemic with Animal Crossing, and that's what shifted a lot of systems for them during the pandemic. That's what kept them afloat.
yeah,
And it's funny how like that game was supposed to come out like
not
much
not
earlier. Like
not kept them afloat, just fucking demolished everything.
I know it's funny because like no one, I don't. It's not obviously not as active as it used to be. It's been like a year now, but I remember like the first 3 months, it's all everyone talked about, and it's
Dude,
so
so
strange. Growing up in like playing Nintendo games in the Wii U era, no one gave a shit about Nintendo. Like everyone I talked about, they only talked about like yeah, like the obvious games like NBA, Call of Duty, Dota, whatever. But like seeing this Nintendo first party game about living in an island and not really there's no combat, but it being like the most popular game, it just I don't know, it was such an odd time. But I liked it. I
have you
played it
seen
and then
ano? Have you seen yung IG commercial ng LG? The
no.
Animal Crossing yung ginamit nila to
Really?
advertise. Yeah, they
I
have
didn't know that.
islands. You know,
Oh,
the corporation thing of parang, visit our islands and see yung wares namin. Where they made a video of it. It's pretty cute.
that's really
But,
cute.
yeah.
I
You ever
wish
gonna return to your island?
maybe. It's strange because like the Animal Crossing game I played the most was on the 3DS New Leaf, and uh, that one I have abandoned much longer, obviously because it's an older game. But also, uh, I don't know. I played that game more because it didn't have. I think it's because no one else played it, so like I was able to pace myself. But because everyone was playing Animal Crossing, when the newest one came out, New
Most
Horizons,
competitive, no?
there was this competitive. Yeah, there was this like my island needs to look good because people are gonna visit my island. It's so strange, and it just made me burn out really quickly because I
So
pushed myself.
burn out really quickly. Maybe just 100 hours.
I know it's not like an oxymoron where like this game that you're meant to play like 5 minutes at a time. I experienced everything, but it like you check your time like 100
Everyone
plus
did
hours.
that. Just
I know.
everyone did. I did that. It was a straight three. Like I would spend whole days. I don't know what I did. It's not. You're not supposed to spend a whole day on the fucking island.
No,
Like it
it's not
was such.
designed for that.
I wonder. Ano. Pero like it clearly isn't. They ran out of ano.
They ran out of ideas. They're like it's strange because like with New Leaf, the whole gimmick with that, you're the mayor of the town, so you run the town. You have all these ordinances, and you could set up new like um new what's the word like new town projects. Like oh, we're building a town well. It'll finish in like 15 days. So there's always something to look forward to. But in New Horizons, you're kind of the mayor, kind of not. You're just like the town representative, and everything you put on the island is so instantaneous. You can just put whatever now on top of your island, and it lost like this one, like the dangling carrot that kept me playing, I guess, because everything was so, the what's the term, the delayed gratification wasn't as there as much as it
It's
used to be.
New Horizons.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything just felt so fast for me, at
So
least. I don't know.
fast, it's like, oh, we're gonna move this, pero literally 34 hours bago mo I felt like,
That's true.
pero I've never played the old ones, and I was gonna
Yeah,
ask you, should I play the old
dude, I
ones?
love the old ones. I love my favorite one is still to this day the DS one, the very low poly, very small but very cozy DS one. It's called Wild World, I believe, and that was the first one to introduce this cheat that they did. You know how like in New Horizons when you run down your town, it's like a cylinder,
Uh
like
huh.
a rotating cylinder. They started that on the DS because the DS couldn't process the whole map all at once, and they kept it. And
Oh,
I love that. I love that they kept that up to this day. And it was the first game to do that. And I
I
don't know,
have
it
a
just
question.
yeah.
It's say also New Horizons. They're too nice, right? I also
Yeah,
thought that. Eh.
yeah,
I wanted.
yeah.
I thought aren't there assholes here?
Yes, there were
Si Don,
in
ganyan na yung pinaka asshole, and he's just like sardonic, not really like being mean to us.
there. I had this rat villager
Is it the
in the
pirate one? The
3DS.
purple pirate?
He has like this purple bandana that goes around his nose. You know how like in those old 80s anime where like the pervy boys like they
The
steal the panties
ninja.
of the
Yeah.
girls, the ninja, and they tie it. Or he had that for some reason. He had that pervert ninja mask. I don't know his name. He was so mean. He was really mean. He would always I'd give him a gift because it was his birthday, and he'd be like, looks like you didn't put enough thought in this, but thanks, I guess, or something like that. Like all these like very passive aggressive.
I needed that sa New
Yeah,
Horizons.
it added flavor. Like in New
No,
Horizons,
and it's
everyone's
like
too nice.
everyone's too nice. And you know what's the problem with everyone being too nice? They start just being needy. Yeah,
That's true. It
you
feels
know.
almost parasitic.
Although I love all of you big sisters ko, you know.
Yeah.
Parang yung almost all of my islands like I don't like when they have yung lipstick on the parang get the fuck out. I wish na no, you could abuse them. It feels like no, like kasi they, you know, in the beginning, di ba, na parang hit them with like the net, so they'll start hating you, and then you
Yeah.
realize later on, parang, oh, there's literally nothing like that programs in game, so it's like there's no use to it. But like you know, I think that the crafting was great. You know,
I love the crafting. Yeah.
I think it was just really it was the best time and the worst time for that game. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be a game you're gonna play years, and it's like no, we ran out.
It's because everyone was stuck at home, so they were like, "Oh, here's another world I could live," and they pushed it to the limit. And I don't think Nintendo was prepared for that.
No, yeah, and like know, I had a friend who started playing. I convinced her, "Oh, you gotta play it," and say, she got sad when she started playing it because it just reminded her of how much she wanted to go out. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Just started
I didn't
playing
mean.
Fire Emblem then.
I'm almost done with Fire Emblem. I continue the story a little bit by bit, and I want to play the other campaigns because there's three stories. It's one story but three different routes. But it's such a long game, and I don't know if I might play the next story maybe next year or something when I don't have a backlog anymore. God, like I'm assuming, but so
I
far,
feel bad na ano I bought yung Fire Emblem eh. So I just bought
yeah,
it as a deal. Tapos parang I don't know if I'm gonna even like this fucking.
I think you like the game. I think you will. It's very persona-y, and I see what they're doing where they added some social aspects that didn't used to be there. It really just used to be the purest strategy RPG, but then they added all this dating sim visual novel
Gonna
stuff.
date all of the young people, and I'm gonna have you headcanon ko na I tell people na I'm their age, and it's just this weird situation na
Oh
parang I'm their
god.
headmaster. Pero in reality, I'm like a 40-year-old man wearing like a mask. Kasi I
I
don't buy this bullshit. Kasi it's already like in the fact that you're like a
yeah, I don't you
teacher.
don't you don't technically date them, but
I
you
know.
can.
It's
It's
like just
so bordering on it though,
might
like
as well just
very close.
do it. It's a fucking ano bang, it's like it's like that fucking anime thing para ano like I am a little lonely, but I'm five
Yeah.
thousand years old, so it's
They
okay.
do
Oh, fuck
that. They do
you.
that in the older in Fire Emblem Awakening. There's a character, I forgot her name. Like she's like that. She looks like she's 8, but she's like a 5,000-year-old dragon.
Why do you
But
have to
because
ano? Why do you even have to fucking date these people? You're
well,
like
why? Well, because uh, in Awakening, the first game to introduce it on the 3DS, they do this thing where when you create a good bond with your soldiers, with your
mm,
teammates, you do like these combo moves that become stronger depending on your bond level. But at the same time, they introduce this time travel angle where like if you get close enough, your child from the future will travel back in time to help you in the war.
wait, what?
So yeah, your child from the future. It's gonna blend the two character models. So they've made character models for every possible combination, and they come back in time to help you win the war.
I don't like the time travel part.
I
But like,
know.
I understand the need for it, naman.
And
I
there's
was
this.
just I was just thinking because of sorry, it's like Final Fantasy Tactics. So parang I didn't need to fucking date any of my people for me to feel attachment to them.
That's
And the
true.
way the way that they did that was like you could send them out on missions. And
Yeah.
I was so enthralled na parang, oh, like, si John came back. Came back with a fucking treasure chest. What treasure chest did he come back with? So fucking amazing. And it's just, I wrote fan fiction. The ganong level. Na parang I really
Wow.
got invested with like Kafgarian and like si Agrias at yung mga team ko, ganon. I made like a story na parang hindi namatay si Kafgarian. Of course. It's like a high school thing. Um, pero like, all of this, ewan ko, kasi the problem then is also it really cutifies war.
That's true. There's
Uh,
I feel like Three Houses kind of nails it though. Because most of that cutesy high school dating, social, whatever, that's in the first half of the game. Um,
there's a
I'll
time
try not
skip.
to. Yeah,
Uh,
I'll try not to spoil it, but yeah, there's the time skip where you face the realities of war. Of now that you're against your former classmates, it becomes really real. But that does pose a question now, because to this day you still remember the fake stories you're making up with your teammates in Final Fantasy Tactics.
it's not fake. It's real. Those stories
It's
are
real to
real.
you. Sorry, I'm sorry to say call it fake. I mean, like
Real.
I wanted to talk about like what's gonna stick to a player more. Is it the memorable, well written, well thought through actual like story, or the emergent story that comes organically as you play that you kind of make up in your head? Because I definitely do that. I do that with like XCOM is one of those games where that normally happens because of the permadeath with each soldier you make up a story in your mind. God, even in
I was
Mario
just
versus
thinking of
Rabbids,
that game na parang, oh, this is so good. Like all of these
where
people.
like I give stories to these characters because like Mario and Luigi, yeah, they have personalities. Mario less so, but they have these personalities, but there's barely like a camaraderie. Like there's no like they don't talk to each other. Like man, that was a tough battle. I almost died. They don't do that. But I put in a story in my head that Luigi is like this cold-hearted because he's a sniper, so
Sniper.
he's this cold-hearted soldier where like he just gets the job done, and then like Mario is like overshadowed by him because for once Luigi is better than him in this one thing, which is taking lives. That was the story in my head. I just
That's so
it
funny.
helped like play the game and enjoy it more. Not that I needed help to enjoy, but it
You
added
could
to it.
argue na si Luigi's the tech guy. Alam mo
That's
yun?
true. Yeah. He
Mario only
does
ever had the
machines.
flood. Pero like si Luigi has like yung the sniper, has yung ano,
Yeah.
yung
The vacuum.
polter gun. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like in terms of like no, kasi I'm just thinking about these these strategy RPGs na parang there's like I don't sobrang defanged in the idea of war and stuff when you put in the dating aspect and like oh
Yeah.
I remember I was filibustering. I forgot what I was gonna say. So like the idea na parang okay, the Three Houses nails it kasi parang it lets you date them, but it also shows you they will die in war and like this is
Hmm.
the effect of that. I was thinking of like paano yung modern warfare? You can shoot yung people right,
Yeah.
and then you go through your missions right. As you get to the ending, and then your ending is you have to sit through like 4 hours of therapy and like talking to yung superiors mo, and like you have to fill out forms. Parang you have to put in your statement mo. Parang this is what I felt and this is why I did that. And that's the actual effect of shooting people probably if you're undercover.
Yeah.
But
The game that's closest to doing that is Spec Ops: The Line. Have you played that game?
I want to, and I hear na yung director nun is directing like a new game or like writing a new game. I
Yeah, I think
forget.
he's writing. I don't know if this is an older game of his, but I know he made a game about a girl trying to sell newspapers during a civil war or something like that.
Oh,
It's
I remember what he's writing. He's writing Wolverine game.
oh, is he really?
Yeah, that's what I hear. So it's like I'm very
Wow. Okay.
interested.
Wow. Okay. Now, yeah, I'm hooked just by that.
It's gonna stop in the middle of the
Yeah,
game. You're not really Wolverine.
you're
You're
the
just playing a
monster all
video game.
along. Yeah.
No one should ever do that. Na. I think people have to cool it off with yung parang the gamers are the monsters because it's like it's a trope now, and like I don't think people are actually saying anything when they say that. Na parang
I
ano.
see what you mean. Yeah, because like, yeah, sure, I'm the monster, but you guys made me. You know what I mean? Like, you're the ones that are commodifying off of my violent tendencies. If that's the argument they're trying to make.
No, that's not. It's not even just your hypocrisy because there's an inherent participation in any art form na you're experiencing na parang you're complicit to it. Pero it's also to the extent na most of the people who do that type of thing, na you're the monster and we're also monsters for making you do that. It's what means to what end is that saying there's a narrative? At least with something like Undertale, it was dissecting yung tropes of like RPGs because you're
Mm.
literally a genocide machine in a RPG.
Yes,
Because
yeah,
so
that's
many
true.
ganun. If it's something like pero like if it's something like if it's done over and over again like an Ubisoft game or something like that, it's just literally like, oh, that's a cool thing that we put in there.
Yeah, when Ubisoft is starting to do it, that's how you know it's a trope. You know, when the AAA um, developers are starting to catch on to this trend, that's when you know it might be reaching the end of this
Because it
new
doesn't even
idea.
when they do that. At least when it's Undertale, it's talking about kindness. Then it's a
Yeah,
choice of kindness. Pero in like you're playing a shooting game,
yeah. Does it ever give you a choice? Exactly.
and that's like you're also complicit in like all of this bullshit na para idealizing all of these shooting things, and then you're trying to give this para sermon, and it's really it's dumb.
Yeah, because yeah, like at least with Undertale, it gives you the choice to go passive or go
Mm.
genocide run. And like I remember this with Uncharted 2 when it came out, and I've been watching videos about it because I was really jealous. I didn't have a PS3 at the time, and people were giving this game 10 out of 10s like that, and it's like it really pushed the shooting genre because at the end of the game, this is a spoiler, I guess, but it doesn't matter. The game is like ages old now. The enemy talks to Nathan Drake and be like, "You call me a monster for killing so many people. How many people have you killed, Nathan Drake? You've killed more than me," like that. But like throughout the game, you're only able to interact with the game through violence. So like you weren't really given a choice. You're not making the player feel guilty for something they can't help because they can't progress through the game unless they kill. So that
You
doesn't.
know what? You know what they the game that did that perfectly in the idea of choice then like an action game, a military style. It's Metal Gear Solid 2 because you
Um.
can do that a passive run. You can just use the
Oh.
it's and it that you could say a lot of things about Kojima. He's heavy-handed, but then there are times na he's the subtlest fuck ever, and it's so interesting. And there's like I guess when I'm thinking about it as an adult now, parang there's like a game that you could, or there's a, you could collect dog tags of your soldiers,
Yeah.
and it's just the idea na parang he made up names for each soldier, and also when you're in the tanker sequence, it's all different faces na they modeled differently.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's like it's like Shenmue if Shenmue was good, ganon.
If it
You
was
know,
a
brute
game.
forcing, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's see, I've been thinking about where there are certain games nowadays that push realism to the max, or to the point where it's a detriment to how the game feels or how the game is trying to present itself.
Wrestling
Like,
games.
yeah, or yeah, and another example would be like the a very controversial game of last year, The Last of Us Part Two, where
Mm.
when you kill someone, another enemy character will yell their name. So like you kill a guy, bang, and then someone will be like, "Oh, she killed Michael. Michael's gone." Like that. They name the dead character, right, to make you feel bad about killing when all you can do in the game is kill. So it's like they set you up for failure. They set you up to feel bad. It doesn't feel earned when the game guilt trips you at the end.
Well, I'll just point out something. You just told me about um, Nathan Drake have the same fucking plot.
Yeah,
They have the same idea, and it's just you do it enough time. What is it? What is it
that's true. Yeah,
saying?
Nathan, that game came out in like what was that? Um, Uncharted 2 came out in it came out in 2009. Wow. Yeah, Uncharted 2 came out in 2009 and they're already doing that you are the real monster trope.
I want a game to make an argument for killing. Now, anyway, I want that no, like a real parang balls
When
to
is
the
it okay to
wall.
kill someone? Like
No, just
they
a real argument about like okay, this is murder, gonna like
like, oh,
because
what if a game about based around self-defense? A game where there's only one combat scenario and it's really well made. An intruder breaks into your house. You had no choice but to kill them. Every route that you do, no matter what you do, it ends in
and
their
then you
death.
fuck your sister.
Yeah, then you, it turns out it's a metaphor for incest. No, but like, here's a random game idea. There's only one combat scenario, and you're in the point of view of someone suffering PTSD of taking someone's life because a
Oh,
home intruder entered your house, right? And they were about to like they were pointing a gun at your wife or something like that or your kid. And throughout that scenario, you replay it constantly in your mind, and everything you do either leads to the death of a loved one or the death of the intruder. So either way, it's supposed to justify the murder because they're saying like, oh, it's defense, it's self defense. Throughout the
okay,
game, you're like convincing yourself that it's self defense, but you just can't buy it.
I got it, I got it. But okay, all right, I'll ask you this question, and then I'll answer the same question that I'm gonna ask you.
Yeah, go. Yeah,
So, what game is your game like? What genre? What can you compare it to?
I'm
Like,
thinking of
what
it
game
as like a
mechanic is it based on na parang to execute that kind of
oh man,
concept?
it's hard to. I can't imagine this game as like a third person over the shoulder shooting game where like it's like a Resident Evil, like the modern Resident Evils, like Resident Evil, the remake of two and whatnot. But that's also kind of limiting. Maybe it has to be first person. I don't know.
I was thinking na pwede siyang parang Stanley Parable na may dialogue
Yeah,
option sort of
yeah.
ganun.
You can try to talk to the killer and like, but it always ends in a murder.
Pero what I was thinking dun sa aking version is like, it plays like Octodad. Are you gonna follow that? Whoa!
Oh, oops! Shooting people.
I'm gonna order us pizza. Pero like, that is, I would play the fuck out of a game based on one of my favorite movies, Dog Day Afternoon. Al
Oh,
Pacino, yung bank robber movie na para it's just a very tense standoff. That's the that's where you get yung cultural reference of like Attica, Attica.
right.
Because
Yeah,
it's
yeah. This is
how
based on true
situated.
story. Yeah, I remember this one.
It's really good. It's like one of my favorite movies. But like, yeah, that's interesting. No, like what game?
What movie would you make a game out of that would
I
fit?
don't know. Like yung the idea of
Like,
passive. Ayun yun. like one scenario type game na parang it's just
Oh yeah.
very well simulated. Yung parang puddle pero deep as an ocean thing.
Yes, yeah. I think one of my favorite I think a good like case study for that sort of term would be like the Arkham games. Because Arkham Asylum, the first one, it's such a short-ish game, and area, the open world, quote unquote, isn't really an open world. This is small prison, but it's so dense. There's so much like tiny clues, tiny details that the developers added, and it only kept expanding from there, which I feel like was the wrong direction to take for the kind of game that they made. Because in Arkham Asylum, it takes place in like I think it's one night, one long night for Batman, basically, and it feels like that. It feels because as the game progresses, it gets brighter and brighter instead of getting
It's like
darker and
Metal
darker.
Gear. Solid.
Because yeah, because it's nighttime and it's almost day, and throughout that night, Batman has to save all these hostages of the asylum, and that's a good example of like a game as small as a puddle but like deep as an ocean. And I feel like it lost that as it kept getting bigger. Like I feel like that's the misguided principle of a lot of open world games nowadays. Just make it big, make it big, make it
Yeah.
explorable. But I don't know. I feel Breath of the Wild was it found a way to make it big while making it dense, and it's I don't know how they did that.
You know how they did they did like 5 years development time.
That's true. They delayed it. They delayed it an entire console's lifespan. It was supposed to come on the Wii U. That's how old that game was, and it just they knew they had something there, so they didn't want to you know
But it's also
fast
ano,
it.
eh, it's also very shallow. I can see yung Monolith Soft imprint on it so much na
Yeah,
parang I feel like ano, they understand map traversal and going back and forth. Basically, they're all fetch quests naman and like stumbling upon like the most inane shit. Pero it's just really good design. Yun talaga yun eh. Parang like I could play Breath of the Wild again and I like it's I know it's like a huge world, diba?
yeah.
But it feels like every part is distinct. Eh.
I
Like,
know. Isn't
oh,
that
I remember
scary? Like
this.
how much work was put into this?
Yeah,
Like
how many birthdays were missed?
I was gonna say, I know like Nintendo can be a shit company when it comes to some business practices of like taking down copyright
Gunpei
stuff, even
Yokoi.
though it's almost at fair use. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
Gunpei Yokoi taking down gun.
Yeah.
No, no,
But
yeah,
like yeah,
gunning
all
down
these
gun.
like yeah, all this like almost outdated kind of views
And
on
they took
fair
out, ano, they
use.
took down yung another Metroid 2 remake.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I understand because it's so good. And you're coming out with a new game, pero I don't know,
But
they're very
like
Disney.
yeah. But like at least you know that they treat their employees right. That's what I hear at least. They're the one like major game development company that they enforce the 8 hour workday. If you're going past 8 hours, you get paid extra. Like that's a strict thing. I don't know if it's a Japanese thing because I hear because freaking animators are worked to the bone and they barely get paid. So I don't think it's a cultural thing. I really think they're just for some reason decent people despite that, and that's why Breath of the Wild took so long because of the amount of work it shows and the amount of time that it took because
I
you
think it's
know that
ano, it's a if you think about it na parang it's a toy company. Ano
yeah.
yun? And it's not a software company. They have yung morals of a toy company. So parang they don't think that they're gonna patch it out. You know, parang there's a I think there's a difference of approach. Na parang if you put out a product, it's that forever. But I think with people with companies like Ubisoft or like any other, it's like we're gonna patch it out. I mean, I know that's a new thing, but Nintendo has been doing this for such a long time. So like I think they understand they were already a big company to begin with, so I think they understand and parang make cultural capitals and everything. And I think that's why that they have like this the privilege to really treat their employees right. That sounds so bad now what I
Yeah,
said.
the
Privilege
privilege to
to
be
treat people
decent
like people.
people. I know.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good talk. You have to go to sleep na. Pero
Same.
like let's sign out with like the game, I guess. Um,
It's weird when it's just the two of us, but go ahead.
sige, sige. Oh, let's change up the game. Let's change up the game. Um, give me a it's a gaming memory na lang. What was the game that when you finished, you suddenly realized that you wasted all of your time and it was a waste of time to play?
That's a good question. And I have one like almost instantly. It was I feel bad saying this, but Trine 3 because I powered through I powered through four Trine games. I loved Trine 1, Trine 2, and Trine 4. They're fantastic games. But I only played Trine 3 and I heard a lot of bad things about it. I only played it because I wanted to understand why it was bad. That was the main reason.
Why is the
And
third one bad? That's so strange.
it's three-dimensional. It's not 2D. And that messed up so much things. And I see where they were going with adding a third dimension, and it's still multiplayer, believe it or not. And it it was so buggy, and it was really the story ends in a cliffhanger that they never continue in the fourth game. And the fourth game was a soft reboot actually, but yeah, when I finished Trine 3, I was like, I can't believe I forced myself to play that just so I can play Trine 4.
Man, when you say Trine, I just think mid, almost bottom of the barrel, mid tier in my head. I know
The
that
first
people
one
love that
is
game.
the first one is, but they get more budget later on. If I were you, skip all the first three Trine games, just play Trine 4. It feels so modern, it feels so great.
It's just so hard to play with my nephew. So that's the only.
No,
That's
I
the only.
dude, I played all these games by myself. Sadly enough,
It's easy by yourself. I could get
yeah,
the I already said Dark Souls na dati. Pero like, that was an empty feeling that was only satiated by me starting a new game again.
yeah.
Which is it's just fucked up. Pero like what was the game na parang I finished it and then I thought na parang why did I do that to myself? I didn't even finish this. Mega Man Legends 2.
Oh
Um, kasi towards the end you go to the moon. Pero you know the ending of Mega Man Legends
no, tell me
series?
please.
He's stuck on the moon. Gonna,
That's the
it's
twist. He's
actually
on the
really
moon.
sad. Yeah, I mean he saved the Earth, whatever. He got stuck
Oh
on the. He's a robot, diba? They don't have they don't have they don't have rights. Just like Pokemon.
yeah.
Um, no, pero I didn't get to see yung ending kasi I leveled up, I got all the items and stuff. Pero then I get to the final part and it's a boss gauntlet,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's like the first one didn't have boss gauntlets. It was like a complete. It wasn't trying to be like all of the other Mega Mans, right? And once I saw yung boss gauntlet, I was like, "Fuck this." I just didn't play it, even though I really love yung game na yun.
Yeah, and you got so far too. I can relate to that. I've done that before.
Why would you fucking put in a boss gauntlet when I don't want one? God, I don't know.
Yeah, specifically you, like,
No, and also, dude, it's fucking Mega Man Legends. Like, well, okay, I think the bosses are fine there. Hindi naman completely shit, but like I just want an ending story. I don't need to fight all of the bosses again. We all got the whole point that we got to here is because I fucking beat them all. Well, don't fucking make
yeah.
me
So why
play
are they
again.
back? I get it. Yeah, that's such a that's such an old school the design philosophy with the boss gauntlet. The only game I can remember that I've played that has done that and did it pretty well was Shovel Knight.
So, you're gonna say
Yeah,
so. Yeah.
And the reason why it was done well is because you play the boss gauntlet, yeah, but it's never the same length of the actual boss fight. They cut it in half,
Are
so
you
the boss,
serious?
yeah, because it's like it's not the same length of the actual boss fight. I think they have like lower defense, so you're
Are you
breezing through these
serious?
bosses. Yeah, yeah. At
No,
least
because
that's
I
how it felt
played
like
it
to
then.
me. Or maybe I just got better. I don't know. But like as I played, I noticed that I was beating these bosses faster than when I first played. When I first beat them when I first played. I don't know. Maybe whatever
I'm
it
gonna
is, it
flex
didn't
it.
feel like it took too long.
I'm gonna flex it because like I didn't know that you could get energy tanks or like yung cups.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that you're supposed to fight in boss gauntlet on like one life.
I mean, you could do that. You can do that.
Yeah, I did that because
Yeah,
I'm good. I'm good at games
you're
occasionally.
great. This is a good way to end the podcast, by the way. Like asking one last question, then we all answer it. I think that's better than the. Not that I don't like your game, but I think this is
You don't
actually.
like Afro Nymphomaniacs?
I do
Lars
like the
von Trier's
game,
favorite icebreaker game.
but I
Wow.
think this kind of ties it way back into the video game thing.
And I think
Anyway, I can't hear you. You were muted the
We're
whole
gonna
time. You
talk
said I think
about.
blank.
Oh, wait.
There you go.
hello.
It's working. Yeah.
I think the problem with the gaming memories is like Andrew's gonna talk about Twisted Metal. You're gonna talk about Dragon Quest or Fallout or
No, I'll try
Skyward.
to think of something
Talk
different.
about
I said
Samurai
trying
Zero.
this time.
Try it.
You're gonna. Yeah, I talk about trying this time. So let's make that a rule. We can't talk about. We have taboo games. For Andren, it's Twisted Metal and maybe Persona 4. For me, it's Shin Megami and maybe Dragon Quest. And then for you, it's Tony Hawk and maybe Dark
Tony
Souls. I don't
Hawk.
know. Yeah.
Alright, sige. You got a new podcast coming up ba?
No, I don't have one planned, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm very spontaneous.
Okay. Everyone who's watching, um, read Hiwaga on
Yes.
top.
Yeah.
Just go to my Facebook page, yung AGW Comics, KOMIX, and then everything's listed there. Just read my comics. It'll make me happy. Gonna oh, I have some news. We sent yung Dylan and Jones sa Frankfurt Book Fest kasi a friend ko has a connect there or something.
Okay.
Or like someone's gonna sell there. Ganun. So like
Nice.
I hope na yung crossing fingers na parang some Danish or what's the German, some it gets picked up by a German na parang, oh, look at the Filipinos.
They
So
sure make
just
the funny
translate.
drawings. Yeah.
Oh, they talk about Kuko sa liwanag ng Maynila or something.
Okay.
Sige, that's
All right.
every Tuesday, Gaming Gamers Anjan will come back. Also check out Red Oliero's
Oh yeah.
show. See, Anjan is there and he's quite good.
He's
You
quite
know,
funny. He's a funny
they
man.
talk about they're like nagkukunwari silang hindi sila DDS.
We just slander him when he's not
Yeah.
here. We just say all these things.
Okay, good night.
Good night.